everyone, I'm Kamesha Bradham at the Augusta-Richmond County Public Library, and I'm so excited to bring you another extraordinary book talk. Today I'm happy to be talking to Miss Georgina Lewis, your favorite librarian in training, and today we're going to spill the tea on this week's pick, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Thank you for letting me interview you.
I'm excited to be interviewed.
Yes, this is very exciting. I like being on this side. Now, I'm super excited about this book because when we first heard it, we was in the RAV, going to outreach, going to different libraries and such. So tell me, why did you pick this book for this particular book talk?
So I am an avid reader of young adult fantasy. I love fantasy. I love young adult books. And I was looking for that next read. I think I was on Goodreads looking at some of my suggested books.
Okay.
And this book came up. And like you said, we were in the RAV and I just clicked it, downloaded it. And I had no idea what I was in store for. It's just an incredible story, an incredible adventure. So this book is primarily about two characters, Laya of Sarah and Elias Victorious. Starting with Laya. So Laya is a part of the scholar class. That is the class that got conquered when the Marshall Empire came in.
Okay.
So she is living essentially this life of oppression with her grandmother and grandfather and her brother. And one night during a raid, she loses her grandparents and her brother is arrested because her brother has committed treason. He has a sketchbook where he sketched the weapons used by the Marshalls, and that gets him put in prison. So here she is alone. She's lost her grandparents. Her brother's in prison, and she has to figure out a way to save her brother. And she finds the Resistance. The Resistance are a group of scholars who they are setting out to resist, to help the scholar people come back to their former glory by, improving their lives, by setting them free. And when she gets there, it's not quite what she expects. Her mother was once a part of the Resistance, so she essentially calls on that connection to be like, help me. And they're like, okay, well, what are you going to do for us? And she becomes a spy at Blackcliff, which is the Empire's military academy. And that's when we flip over to Elias Victorious. So Elias is the top student at this academy that trains the Mask. Mask are the class of people who are the best trained. They are the assassins. They keep the order. And it's a very harsh life at the academy. And Elias truly, truly wants freedom. He is a reluctant student. He does not want to be there. But he's in his last year. So he is planning to desert. He is planning to leave, which is very much punishable by death. And he has already made up his mind. He has his plans going for him. And then a character comes in and tells him, you want freedom. Well, if you stay a little longer, you'll get real freedom. So instead of people chasing him down and looking for him, he'll have that real true freedom that he's always been seeking. So he stays. And so Laya and Elias's paths cross, and that leads us on an incredible adventure.
Very incredible indeed. And while I was listening to it, it hurt my heart how he had to go through the harsh life that he lived. And then I was excited when he finally got the courage in his last year to try to escape.
Yeah, so one of the tidbits about Elias is that he was not always at the academy. and that he was abandoned, and then he lived with a different people. I don't want to give much away.
Yep.
And then he was brought to the academy, and so his thought processes sometimes, his outlook is different from his peers.
Yes, it was. Now, as many of you may know, this year's summer reading theme is Imagine Your Story. And throughout the summer, we have been trying to find books, feature books that help patrons and ourselves imagine ourselves in the story. So tell us, how do you imagine yourself in the story?
So I see myself in Laya and in Elias. So I'm going to start with Laya. So Laya for me represents overcoming your fears, taking up courage and love to accomplish what needs to be done. She needs to save her brother. She has to save her brother. And she's terrified the entire time. She is frightened. She's scared. She doesn't always know who to trust. She's spying. She's never been a spy before, you know. And even with all these things and her being afraid to do them, she steps up the best way she knows how, puts herself out there, puts in the work to get these things done. So very much overcoming your fear and doing that. And for me, I feel like I've done a lot of that in life, overcoming the unknown and the fear and trepidation of doing something to do what you know is best. Like even doing these book talks was definitely a leap of faith, you know, because how did I know if anybody was going to watch these?
Exactly.
You know, so definitely see myself in Laya. And then in Elias, he's a character who is always thinking.
Okay.
He thinks all the time. There's a part in the book where he's at a festival. Festivals are supposed to be fun.
Yes.
And he's noticing how many marshals are around. He's thinking about escapes routes and stuff. And I'm just like, that's so me.
Okay.
I think a lot. I think, and he also doesn't share his feelings maybe as freely because it's all in his head. And that's me. I think a lot about how I feel about people. I am always thinking. Sometimes it's hard to go to sleep for all the thinking that I do. So that's how I saw myself in both of those characters.
Okay, going back to your personality and keeping things inside, would you describe yourself as an introvert or an extrovert?
So I will take ambivert, which is someone who has both introversion and extroversion, and I would say it leans toward introversion. I do enjoy my peace and my time to myself, because I'm a thinker. It gives my brain a chance to just think up all the things. But I do enjoy like interacting with people, different things like that. It just makes me kind of tired after I do so. So I'm an ambivert leaning towards introvert.
I'm an introvert all the way. Okay. Did you have an unexpected favorite? Like someone you thought, hold up, what in the world is going on with this character? But grew to love them?
So if the excitement for this book seems like, oh, it's a giveaway that I have read all the books that are in this series. So there are 3 books in this series and I've read all of them. But just starting with this first book, I would say consistently throughout the series, Helene Aquila, who is Elias's best friend, she is the only female at Blackcliff, only female student at Blackcliff. And she's my unexpected favorite. She is like the epitome of girl power. She's strong, she's fierce, she's smart, she's kind, she is like so sweet. Like there's so many elements to her that in the first book you hear about Helene through Elias. It's his perspective. It's him talking. And if you get series fever and you continue on, you will see how much like Helene evolves and grows. She is an incredible character. I love her so much. So she's definitely an unexpected fave.
Okay. And I have to agree with you. Helene is mine. watching her grow throughout the books in the series is amazing. At first, she's kind of like introverted. She's scared to talk about how she feels, but she grows beautifully throughout the book.
Yes, I dare say that in December the final book comes out.
Yes.
And I dare say I'm more excited to find out what's going to happen with Helene than maybe even Laya or Elias.
Me too. I have to agree. Okay, so what age would you recommend our patrons be to read this book?
So this is a great YA book, and I know YA is different for everyone, but I would definitely put this book squarely at like 16 years of age and up. There are some mature things that happen in the book and throughout the series that I just think would be more suited for that. I believe if you look in Pines, it'll say upper high school grades. So like 9th grade to 12th grade. So that's kind of where I'm getting my recommendation from.
Okay, so mature themes, higher high school adults. Okay.
And up.
Okay. So why should our young adult, high school, and our adults like ourselves read this book? Why do you think they would enjoy it?
Well, this book has suspense, it has action, it has drama, and characters you can grow with. But I would say that the feather in Miss Sabaa Tahir's cap is her world building. It is incredible. I actually did not get a chance to read the physical copy. I've now read the first book 3 times. And I didn't have the physical copy. The physical copy actually has maps in it. And her world building is so incredible, even as you're listening to it, that when I saw the maps, it was like I had already seen it. You can smell the air. You can taste, well, maybe you don't want to taste the gruel, but you can just, all of your senses are engaged in this world building, and you're easily just immersed inside of this book. So it's incredible.
Definitely. Where can our patrons find this book?
So fortunately for us, our patrons can actually find this book here at Augusta-Richmond County Public Library. You can place it on hold in Pines, and you can either curbside or come inside to get your physical copy of this book. For our patrons who may not be able to come into the library right away, we also have this on RP Digital, so you can download it. And for our patrons who have blindness, or they might have print disabilities, we have this book inside of Georgia Libraries for Accessible Statewide Services, who they actually cater to our patrons like that, and they have all 3 of the books. So all the books that are in the series are available on all of those.
Okay, so if you enjoyed listening to our excitement about this book, make sure you utilize the different resources we have. And I just want to say, she helped me love young adult novels. This was my first, as an adult, this was my first young adult novel that she introduced me to, and it really blossomed my love for young adult novels as an adult.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers. And again, if you want to utilize curbside service, make sure you place the book on hold, come to the library, and we will bring it out to your car. You can also, starting Monday, July 27th, you can come into the library for limited computer use, and you can also browse the shelf. So if you go into a library and see the book on the shelf, you can check it out that way as well. Okay? That is all we have time for today. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. And just taking a quick moment to say thank you to anyone and everyone who has been viewing these book talks. Thank you so much for watching this content. So on Monday, that will be our grand finale, our very last book talk for this series that we've had going. I appreciate all of you, and I hope that you tune in for our grand finale. It's going to be really special. See you later.